Welcome to my first ever episode on YouTube of Your Favorite Recipes Plant-Based Veganary. So this month I'm actually doing Veganary, which is a challenge where you avoid all refined sugars, any high carb food, and anything dairy related. I'm really excited to share my experience with you guys and really just show you guys my progress so far. So it's been the first week in January already. I've been plant-based for the past 3 years, so it hasn't really been that much of a transition. I do love eating bread in the morning, so I think that was probably one of the hardest things for me to cut back on. But I feel like since I never really had too much sugar in my food, I never add it, or I don't really eat foods high in sugar, I feel like for me this challenge was actually really fun. And I also bought Earthy Andy's plant-based cookbook, which is plant over processed. And she has so many amazing recipes and so many delicious snacks that it just makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun while in the kitchen. So the first thing I wanted to touch on is anytime people hear plant-based or vegan, they think they have to spend tons of money at the grocery store, and that's actually completely false. You buy what you need and you really shouldn't be spending that much. If you like certain milks, I feel like that's where it can get pricey. Some of the milks can go between $5 and $7. If you're like me and you like having regular oat milk, I'm gonna buy something simple between $2 and maybe $5 max. I don't need fancy milks. I like oat milk, that's totally fine with me. Another thing that people get stuck up on, I think, is cooking. So I think that's one of the biggest factors is what should I make? How should I make it? How long is it gonna make? Because of course, if you haven't cooked this way before, you're not really gonna know exactly what to do. So I think that's important, is to have someone where you can follow, which on my Instagram page at Your Favorite Recipe, I have tons of videos. And this is actually my cat Mila. She wants to be in the video. Like, can you guys say hi to her too? She's so cute, she's funny. So on my Instagram page, I have a ton of recipes. I'm gonna link Your Favorite Recipe website so that you guys can have easy access to finding quick and easy recipes. The cooking, it should really be a fun process. I'm all about making food that's delicious, flavorful, and easy. It really shouldn't be, for me personally, I don't like cooking more than 30 minutes unless it's somebody's birthday or it's the holidays like Christmas, then I'll spend hours in the kitchen. But if it's a weeknight and I'm busy or I'm tired from work, I definitely don't want to be spending a lot of time in the kitchen. And I recommend that you guys have these in your kitchen as well. So I love eating sweet potatoes. I love cauliflower. I'm obsessed with Jacinto kale. It's a type of kale. I also love red kale. I love that the Jacinto kale, you can make it super crunchy. You can add it in wraps. You can have it on the side with all of your greens. It's so good. Other vegetables that I recommend having are green onions, white onions. I absolutely love red cabbage and regular green cabbage. Those are like my go-to items, and honestly, if buying those alone, I would say cost me between $15 to $20 max just for those. And those will last you at least a week or a week and a half, depending on how many people you're feeding. Other items that I think are important to have in your kitchen are certain spices. I recommend getting turmeric, not just to have or add in your food. It's very well known for its healing properties, for its anti-inflammatory properties, lowering cholesterol, and it's a natural energy booster in your food. So honestly, I include it in every single meal that I make. I never exclude it because I feel like that's one of the most important things to include in your food. Another spice that I recommend adding, it also depends on your spice level, so this may not be for everyone, but I love spicy food, so my go-to are paprika and cayenne pepper. They're really good for your health, good for your skin, and they're not really expensive. Depending on where you go, it can range from like $2 to $4. Others that I recommend getting is, I love having garlic powder. I think even though I always add garlic in my food, I always saute onions and garlic together, I think having the powder on hand is also really helpful. If you're seasoning, if you want your sweet potato to have some flavors, just throw in some garlic powder. And also onion powder, I think, is really great to have also for seasoning. I personally like using Himalayan salt. It's obviously your preference, but those are the key staples in my pantry. And stay tuned for the next video because I'm definitely going to show you guys what I keep behind these cabinets and do a small food haul so you guys can see more of all of the products I use and the food that I eat and that I make. I also love having snacks on hand, so I think that's a big factor for people is, well, what do you snack on if you're going plant-based? Or they kind of think like you can't have any snacks. There's so many healthy, delicious snacks that you can either make or that you can either buy. So it's really your choice. Of course, you can snack on apples, oranges, pineapples, bananas, the list goes on. My favorite thing to do, especially let's say I'm packing things for work, I like to pack on top of like a meal, carrots and celery with hummus on the side, and I just like dipping the vegetables. Not only is it delicious and healthy for you, but it's also really filling if you want to feel full. And I know sometimes people think, how can that keep me full? But there are plenty of ways as long as you know what to use. Other snacks that I love are eating nuts. So it doesn't have to be regular almond nuts. It can be a trail mix, a blend, which has craisins, dried fruit. It doesn't have to just be one thing. I think that's what people get stuck on. And honestly, when I became plant-based 3 years ago, I had the same questions as you. That's why I'm making this video. And I'm sharing all of my resources with you guys so that you can feel more comfortable and most importantly, excited to take on this new journey. I also love having macadamia nuts. Those are a little bit more on the expensive side, so it really just depends what your budget is, but those are really good to have on hand as well, and they taste absolutely delicious. As we go along through the videos, which I'm so excited to share with you guys, I'm also going to be sharing with you guys how I make my own potato chips. So it doesn't have to be Lay's or Buffalo Ranch Dorito chips. I definitely don't miss eating those at all because it would make me feel really tired. Like I feel like when you bite into them, it tastes delicious, but then you're tired, you're asleep. I don't need that. I love feeling energized. So I learned how to make my own potato chips, and it's really simple. I'll share with you guys all of those recipes in the later video. This one is really just focusing on how to go plant-based, or if you want to try out what items you need to have a successful transition period and also maintain that kind of lifestyle. Even if you're not plant-based, let's say you eat meat or chicken or whatever, that's totally fine too. If let's say you want to include those meals, it's very easy. It doesn't have to be something that you have to do every day. I, of course, transitioned for health reasons. I was having tons of stomach sensitivities and it was really hard for me. I felt like I couldn't eat anything because anytime I ate certain foods, it would upset my stomach to the point where I was in physical pain. And then I went to a dietitian, I went to a doctor, and they prescribed all of these medications, and I thought, I definitely don't want to be on medicine at such a young age. How can I heal my body? So doing all the research, I've read tons of books, tons of literature, and it's honestly time consuming. It wasn't really up to the last 2 years, to be honest, that I felt really comfortable talking about my experience. One, because it's uncommon and you don't really hear about that. You don't hear people talking about their stomach sensitivities, and it can affect you in so many ways. Like if you are someone who does suffer from stomach sensitivities, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's just not an easy topic anyways, because you don't want to feel judged by other people, or you might be worried what other people will think. But I'm here to share my experience with you guys, creating a safe space. This is something that people should talk about more and that should be addressed as well, because I think that having those additional recipes, including the healthy meal, is really going to make the difference in your life like it did for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comment section below, and let me know if you want me to do an additional video based on the questions you asked. Also, don't forget to share, subscribe, and like.